All right, so I'm going to show you how to do a 45-degree equal spread offset. We're going to calculate this center to center, and then we're also going to calculate it end to end. So first of all, starting with the 45-degree offset, basically they're saying that the angle that we are moving from our vertical pipe to this diagonal pipe is 45 degrees. Now, what's special about the 45-degree triangle is that the offset and the run are the same distance. So since I have a run here of 3 feet and 1 inch, my offset is also going to be 3 feet 1 inch. And there's, sorry, that's supposed to say 1 inch, not 11. Let me white that out real fast. 1 inch, okay. 3 feet 1 inch. Now there's two ways, well there's actually three ways we could do this. Because we have so much information, we could use Pythagorean theorem to solve for this missing side. So I could just do this side squared plus this side squared and then take the square root of that sum. So that would look like in my calculator, 3 feet 1 inch squared plus 3 feet 1 inch squared equals, and then take the square root, and we get 4 feet 4 and 5/16 inches. Now, another way we could do this is using sine or cosine, solving for the missing side. So this is my hypotenuse. We have both the opposite and the adjacent. So if I wanted to solve for it using sine, I could do the sine of 45 is equal to my opposite, 3 feet 1 inch, divided by the hypotenuse. Now this way is probably a little bit trickier because we do end up with the variable we're trying to solve for on the bottom of the equation. So we end up having to multiply both sides by h. And then we get h times the sine of 45 is 3 feet 11 inches. And then we would divide both sides by the sine of 45 in order to get h by itself. And then we end up with h is equal to 3 feet 1 inch divided by the sine of 45. Now let's just go ahead, see if that gives us that 4 feet 4 and 5/16. So we're gonna have 3 feet 1 inch divided by the sine of 45. So we're gonna do 45, take the sine of that, the sine of 45 is 0.707, hit equals, and we get that h is equal to 4 feet 4 and 5/16 inches. Now the easiest way I think to do the equal spread offset is just to use the constant, which is 1.414, and 1.414 really just comes from it's 1 divided by the sine of 45. So if I did 1 divided by 45 sine is equal to, you get 1.414. So that's where that constant comes from. But anytime we have a 45-degree triangle and we're trying to solve for the travel, we just multiply the rise or the offset or the run by 1.414. So that's what I'm going to do here. Almost every time I do an equal spread offset, that's how I'm going to solve it, just because it's probably the most efficient way to do it. So I'm going to do 3 feet 1 inch times 1.414, and we should get the same thing, 4 feet 4 and 5/16 inches. So whichever way you want to solve it, up to you, but 1.414 is generally the go-to when we're doing a 45-degree. All right, now once we have this length right here, this diagonal is 4 feet 4 and 5/16 inches. It's going to be the same for all of our diagonals moving across. So that's the same length for B right here, 4 and 5/16 inches. All right, join me for part 2 to see how we'll solve for the rest of the measurements.